There we
There we
go. All
magic.
right. Yeah. This Nasty Neal here at the station of decapitation without your head, and I'm joined by directors Deanna Milligan and Ramsey Fendall of Lucid. It's cool to have you guys both here. Can you give people an idea of what Lucid is about for those not aware?
Sure, yeah. Lucid is a story about an artist in the 1990s who has a terrible creative block. So she uses a lucid dreaming elixir to break through and blur the lines between dreams and reality so that she can create a self-portrait project. But she ends up blowing all of her inner demons out of her mind into real life where she has to uncover some buried trauma.
Now, I saw
And
was, oh, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
sorry, no, yeah. But she
Well,
ultimately becomes a better artist because of this.
first on those lines, do you think the idea of maybe you have experience with, I don't know, about being on substances, can that help your creativity?
Oh, you got frozen.
Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. Just for a moment
Oh,
there.
okay. So yeah, it was
Yeah,
fine on my end. Do you have any experience with this or thoughts on it? The idea of using substances to help your creativity?
yeah. Well, in the case of Lucid, Lucid isn't not a drug.
Hmm.
In the story, it's like the Vivian Vanderpuss who gives the Lucid elixir to Nia initially says it won't get you high. It's just something through a doorway.
It's a
Um,
magical
it's
device.
magic.
It's a magical device. It's the sort of thing, it's sort of it's sort of a tongue-in-cheek metaphor for the idea that if you're having creative problems, you can just sort of take this thing and then immediately you don't have those problems, which is ludicrous because we all know when it comes down to it, we all have to do the hard work and there's no substitute. And man, it would be easy. We always joke like, man,
The
we just
magic little
if
pill.
only we had the magic little pill to get us through these problems, that would just be wonderful. But yeah,
Yeah, but unfortunately, there is not such a
not
thing.
such a thing.
Yeah. I like the guy who played the teacher in the movie. I don't really like that character, but he's played well in the movie. But I also like the idea of there's a few things there. It's kind of like forcing someone to explain like what their art is about on like every level. And I think anyone who's made anything, can understand that character and how annoying they would be.
Well, I have an interesting story about that. So that character is Arthur Colt is the character in the movie, and it's played by the actor John Luna. And John Luna, as it happens, is actually I've known John since I was 4 years old. And John grew up in an intensely artistic household. And I know that because I would go over there when I was 4 years old and I saw his sort of rambunctious artistic family. And in life, he's an artist, but for many years, he also worked as an art teacher. And I think in a way, it was an opportunity for him to kind of channel this slightly darker side. He's the sweetest guy in the
Uh,
world,
yeah.
but
The
but
shadows.
he's basically channeling his shadow side, that all the things that he may have maybe wanted to say to some of his art, to some of his students, he was finally able to
He did
say.
a lot of brilliant improvisation, and which I think is, yeah, maybe exactly that, channeling those things.
Yeah.
There's great locations in the movie. Everything really feels like it's really lived in. Was that like a real concert that you filmed at, and were the location stuff you had in mind while you're writing it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that bar, those girls under our composers, Marta Jakubik McKeever, she made that song Karmic Mirror and taught it to the kids. And Ayla, um, who plays the bass in the film, she's playing live. And
All the music, all the performances are actually live
Oh
yeah,
performances.
wow. And all the
yeah.
music's great in the movie, by the way.
It was, yeah, it was a banger. And it was the best day on set because we had lots of friends show up to be extras in watching the band, and we shot that in just 2 takes, and that was it. The concert scene, because it was live, we had to kind of choose a take.
Yeah.
But I think that also also that Nick, the character on the stage with the camera, was shooting Super 8 while filming. So we had that footage as well, the Super 8 footage.
Yeah.
But it all just felt like really grungy and
Had a 90s.
90s.
That venue, unfortunately,
It's gone.
it's gone. That was
That's
almost the last
unfortunate.
thing
Yeah.
that was ever done there. And then to say the other locations too, Mia's apartment, that actually was all that's our house,
Yeah.
and we actually created that set in our carport.
We got old windows and street finds and stuff and filled that space, and then Caitlin spray painted all the walls
And built the walls.
Yeah.
And was extremely, to build the Mia character was actually building that set alongside of us.
yeah, like they used power tools and everything. It like went in, and it was amazing to see that kind of like wild creation before we started. And they would write on all the walls in character, and we actually got shut down by our local community. We had to take it apart.
The municipality said, yeah, they thought we had built an Airbnb. And
toilets on a tap.
Yeah,
I like this.
yeah.
It's like a grunge 90s themed Airbnb. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. We actually missed that location. I missed that
Yeah.
it was very inspirational to go in there. And then the actual art school, we filmed
Our sound guy's apartment.
yeah, he
Yeah.
has this brilliant sort of loft space in Chinatown in Victoria, BC. And we love, I mean, when we can find a location that does the heavy lifting for us, that has, distressed brick and has a lot of texture, it's like we love that. We seek that out as much as we can. So
Yeah, I graduated in 94, so everything felt very very accurate to the era.
Okay,
Cool.
awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm 90, so we all know.
we want that. Yeah.
Miss those days.
Yeah, those days. Yeah.
Yeah, plus you don't have to worry about internet or phones in the movie. If
Right?
We hate having to deal with that as a device, because you just like, okay, you solve.
yeah, there's some dumb reason why someone has to lose their phone, and yeah.
Or you look it up or whatever. It's like you don't have to deal with that. It's like, man, we had to put in the work.
Yeah, just Googles what's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't even know how I got around back then. Google Maps, it's so much easier. Well,
Yeah.
How did
Really?
anybody ever meet anybody? It's like it's a miracle to me now. So
that's very true. So what was the
Yeah.
experience like watching it with an audience for the first time at Fantasia?
It was heart opening. It was like mind blowing. The audience at Fantasia is unreal. Plus, we had 25 of our cast and crew come, people that had never seen the film before. So we were all just shaking, palms sweating. Like it was amazing.
it was amazing. It was so exciting, and we could hear everybody. It begins with the meowing, and then everybody's cheering, and it's
To the show, I had all these like fabulous like goth girls and queer kids and punk. I just had a punk kid come to the door and hand me a note saying I love Lucid, and like those kids like really relate to, I think, almost romanticize the world that we got to grow up in.
Mhm.
Like they don't know that.
For the longest time everything was 80s nostalgia, but now we're into more of a 90s nostalgia, which I prefer. I must have frozen up again.
Right.
Did I freeze again? Am I here?
Yeah, you froze.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think I got it. You're saying the 80s
The 80s,
nostalgia was
yeah.
not great, but that the 80s nostalgia was a thing, and now it's 90s.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think 80s is hard to do.
yeah.
We're actually working on sort of a late 80s story next, and it is a little bit more difficult now to do that. It's a little farther back.
The
for
locations
costumes.
for costumes,
Yeah.
for cars, for everything. The buildings all change. Everything gets developed so
Yeah.
fast now that it's really hard to find that world.
Yeah.
I mean, we grew up in that world. We remember that world.
Yeah.
And I think for a lot of people, they present like, oh, I think this is 80s. This is cool. And we're like, that's actually not 80s.
Yeah, here's a Rubik's
It's hard to
Cube.
relate
Yeah,
to
yeah.
unless you were through it.
Yeah.
And whereas 90s is much closer. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So the music in the movie, do you have to pay attention to like to use different type of music when there's more like dreamlike sequences? Because I noticed that in the movie. So sometimes it's more like stuff that feels like you'd be there than stuff that kind of puts you in a different mindset.
So we worked with our amazing composer Marta Jakubek McKeever, and we actually started with the film. The very kind of genesis of the feature version of this film started with the song that the Mia's parents sing, that "If You Love Me" song,
Mhm.
which is a kind of 70s ballad, kind of argument ballad. And that was so it was Marta in conjunction with a musician friend of hers that they work together all the time, Jamie Wallum, who's the drummer for Tears for Fears,
Oh,
speaking
sweet.
of the 80s.
Yeah.
And so that was sort of one facet of the music. And then Marta composed a series of score pieces for the dream sequences. And here's the crazy story
Yeah,
is
this
that
is
when
crazy.
Marta did that, I guess kind of as we were getting
Post.
into post, and
Yeah,
then Marta was diagnosed with cancer, with a
Oh, I'm sorry
very,
to hear that.
very serious
yeah,
cancer.
stage 4.
Oh, wow.
Bad,
And
bad,
it's
bad.
immediately like she went into hospital. And Dan, our sound person, our sound recordist, um, brought a keyboard to the hospital. And Marta recorded those, a lot of that music
That sort of
under
spooky,
morphine
yeah,
at the hospital. And some of the pieces she didn't remember creating.
creating. But she wrote like 50, it was like 50 or 60 pieces of
Like
music.
stems to start with, and
Just,
that some of
yeah.
them we expanded upon later,
But that was the sort of musical
but
genesis.
yeah, she created them, imagined them there in the hospital.
Yeah, and
Oh,
we had
wow.
sent her a link of a sort of rough cut, and so she was sort of scoring stuff along the way. So
Yeah.
music really guided a lot of the edit, and then Marta, in addition to that, because she's an incredible connected musician and knows a lot of other musicians, so she became almost like a kind of music supervisor for us, and so she was sending us all these different music
Stuff that's local.
from friends. So we had, and so uh, British Columbia, like the Vancouver Island, like there's just this abundance of incredible musicians, and so we just had this rich like so many songs to work with. It was almost like we ended up having to cut away so much stuff because there were just so many options.
Yeah.
And then in addition to that, a really cool development at the very end was that there's a punk song at the beginning and there's a punk song after Mia after the goth girls fall down and pass out, and that's a punk band called the Dish Rags, and they were the first girl punk band I think
In North America.
in North
Oh, wow.
America
That's really cool.
Yeah.
from the late 70s. And they opened for the Clash in 1979, and they were just kids. They were teenagers.
Yeah, they all quit school.
They all quit school. They were dropouts. It was like a kind of runaway story.
And the whole band was done by the time they were 18
By they were
or
18,
19 or something.
they had already hung up their guitars.
So we wanted their music, and when we asked them hey, like, would we be able to would you guys lend us a couple of songs for the movie? Like, do you still own the rights to your, because a lot of the artists that we were trying to
Yeah.
deal with, they had sold their rights to labels and we couldn't afford it. But they're like, yeah, man, we never sold out.
We never remember that in the 80s.
Yeah,
Never sell out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
that makes it even cooler. So, I know we don't have a ton of time, but what are some of the difficulties of shooting on film?
Well, here's the fun fact. So when, living in shooting this film in a remote location like Vancouver Island. So we get the film from either Rochester, New York, or we get it from LA. And then we shoot on film, which we love. The actual simplicity of shooting on film, in some ways, you have less takes, you rehearse more. Everybody's in their A game as opposed to sort of just warming up and whatever. So that part is great. But then we have to take the film once it's shot. We then have to sell it. Sorry, we have to send it to Montreal to be developed. and then they ship the developed film back to us in Victoria, and then we go to a guy who's on a remote island
This sounds like a movie on
from
its own. Yeah.
it's a movie on its own. This guy, Doug McCaffrey, bless you, Doug, who lives on this tiny island, Cortez Island, which is literally an island off an island off an island. So several ferries away. So when we went and we processed the film, we went and we stayed in a tree house, this Airbnb tree house, and we go and we handed him this big stack of film, and we were just churning through it. So we don't actually see. So here's the upshot of it: we don't actually see that material until like weeks later. And so,
there's a surprise. Well, there's always
there's
surprises.
always surprises.
Yeah.
Like sometimes there's crazy surprises. There's like, whoa, look at the color. And like we were playing with Ektachrome and expired film and stuff. So all the stuff with Mia, the black hair and the candy stop motion stuff, that was Ektachrome. And when we were watching the movie theater last night, the theater was so beautiful that we were
It was
in.
so
That
wonderful.
Ektachrome just popped, like the reds and crazy colors. They were just so surprisingly beautiful. So it's pretty cool. We were addicted to the
We love it. I mean, and the beauty about film is even if something in a film like this, even if there's something wrong, which was really
It would add to it. Yeah.
Even if there's something wrong, like it's cool. Like it's
Yeah.
flash,
it's fucked up.
the flash frames, if there's dust, if there's grit, like all that stuff, like it's always cool. And it's not even like you don't even wonder like if it will be cool, it's just how it will be cool. And so that's it's tricky. And yeah, it's also, it can be expensive. But
Yeah, it looks a certain way. You could tell you just didn't hit like a filter on a on a
it's
program.
different, right?
It's never the same.
Yeah.
You can never fake. You can almost fake 35. You can never fake Super 8 or 16. You just can't. It can't be done. So.
And Caitlin's amazing in the movie, and I know she's also in the short film. And I also thought it was cool, like there's scenes of her actually doing the art herself.
She's a great artist.
Oh, so she is an artist
Incredible.
outside of the movie. Okay.
So all of that, all of the art that appears, it's all her. Like she's actually, and so when we were promoting the film here the other night, Caitlin was in the outside in the theater here, and she was doing all these drawings. She was doing like live portraits of people. She's so unbelievably talented. Like if she wanted to, just go be a visual artist, she could do that.
Absolutely.
Like she's actually at that level.
Yeah.
So she's a phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
She can dance, she can draw, she can paint, she can do any of that.
Like we did this cool gag where she falls from the ceiling. She wakes up sort of floating near the ceiling, but we had no way of rigging anything or anything. So she just held herself there, like on the ceiling, on the rafters, but tried to relax her face so she would look relaxed and like she was sleeping. But imagine holding yourself.
Yeah, well, I even noticed when she's coming out of bed, like out of the door, I was like, oh, she's really climbing out of there, and like,
yeah.
She's really like her physical. She's a dancer. She's also, in addition to being an artist, she's an incredible dancer. So her command of physical actions I have never worked with another actor that has a sense of the physicality embodied in the character, but also the physicality in relation to performing for the camera and not being aware of the camera. It's like it's magic.
Yeah, right down to her feet. And, you can see every part of her body, her fingers and feet, everything are totally in the character. Different than what she is. Like Mia is very different from Caitlin.
Yeah,
so,
it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It is a role.
I'm sorry, we just have a couple minutes left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Were any of the visuals of the demons, are they based on any like actual dreams that either of you've had?
Well, Ramsey's block monster is his deer monster.
Definitely my creative block monster. I think I've encountered that in several dream incarnations where some kind of flat-faced thing confronts me and bangs me on the head, because literally sometimes when you're not feeling creatively inspired, it feels sort of like you're banging your head against the wall. And so I wanted to have a kind of physical manifestation of it. But yeah, I would say that actually does come from sort of my own dream world.
The monsters were really like the inspiration was to create like this mother that was all the monsters. So Amber Dandelion, who played the mother, in real life, they're a psychic medium. We met them in doing that at first, but the character, the monsters were all coming from Amber. So Amber actually was inside the Chicken Man costume, that the fried chicken monster. That was Amber inside that costume. That's also her voice that we had played with. The hair of the hair monster was also inspired by Amber's hair. So yeah, it was coming directly from the performer.
Well, I thought Lucid was great. Not to see both are here, I really loved it, and I can imagine in the theater on the big screen, not just the visuals, but also the sound. You know you can't escape from it. So I think that would be the way to see it if possible. And from Fantasia, where does Lucid go from here?
We can't say right now what
All right,
festival
fair
we're
enough.
at next. I
Yeah.
wish that we could, but we are going to more festivals and then chatting with distributors now. So we're really hoping we'd be able to. So if folks want to follow us to Sublunar Films,
All right, yeah, I'll put the
we'll
link
be
up.
making an announcement at some point.
Yeah, well, we got more coming up. We've got more screenings coming up. We promise.
All right, cool. And congratulations on the movie. I thought it was awesome.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Time to chat with us.
I really appreciate it. Yeah,
Appreciate you both coming on. All right,
awesome.
see ya.
Thank you. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.